For this project we're going to use King Cole double knitting splash and this lilac, which is picking up the bits of the lilac that's in here in its Crafty Things yarn. Both acrylic yarn, 100 grams, and to use a 4mm hook, but because I wanted a little bit looser I'm going to use a 5mm hook. I've already started and done one side, so and that was what was left after one side, which is you make two sides for your hexagon cardigan. You need snippers and your darning needle as well. This is the first side. So, and for this one it's a V-stitch rather than a granny stitch. It's just to make it a bit more, well, a bit different. I've never done this one before, and I've never seen it. I've seen it anywhere. I've looked for the V-stitch granny, V-stitch hexagon cardigan, but I haven't seen it anywhere, so I thought I'll give it a try. V-stitch is nice and easy. So to begin, we're going to start with our chain 4. See if I can come out a bit. Or do you want me in? I'll stay in for now. Stay close, stay close. Just move everything out of your way. Like I say, using the 5mm hook, I'm going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Join with a slip stitch to the first chain, pull through, which you've made the circle, and that's in the very, very center. So now I'm just going right into doing my V-stitch. So it's chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then chain 4 in the middle of your V-stitch, and then a double crochet into the center. Is that what I done? Oh, I'm just going to check that's what I did do. Sure, I made 6 V's in the very, very center. I'll just leave that there. I just love these colours. Every time you make something different, it's so pretty, isn't it? Changing the colours around. So I've left that quite loose so we can tighten up your yarn threads later. So I am going to do a chain in between. So chain 1 in between and then a V-stitch into the centre again. So we want 6. So it's a double crochet, chain 1 and a double crochet. So that's your V. And I'm actually going to do 2 chains in between so we can maybe see the difference of our V-stitch. So that's 1, 2, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, 3, chain 2, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, oops, I've read straight into doing a granny stitch then without even thinking. So I needed my thinking hat on. Chain 1 and double crochet, squishing it round a bit, your chain 2, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. So I'm just going to check where we are. So I was harder on this one because it isn't a cluster of 3. So that's your first V, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to join with a chain 1 and slip stitch into the third one up, or the third chain up, 1, 2, 3, and that's the top of your V-stitch. So I'm going to just slip stitch all the way through, and we're changing our yarn. So what I like to do as well with the yarns, I'm just going to tie it into a knot and not cut it away, not cut it off. Pull my centre stitch a little bit tighter. Then I'm going to join with the variegated yarn. So you can see on the previous one I have never cut off any of the, let's have a look, see if I can show you that. I've not cut off any of the strands, and I've just carried them along up onto the next, so that I've got less, because we're changing our every row, I've got less knots and less sewing of the ends to put away. Okay, so for our next round, I'm going to pick up our colour, variegated. I'm going to put a slip knot in, and I'm going to look for this chain 2, which is near where I've been. So that's your V stitch there, and just before the V stitch I'm just going to join. I'm going to chain 3, which will be classed as a double crochet, chain 1, that'll be the top of my V stitch, and double crochet into that chain space. And then I'm going to look for the next chain space, so that's them 2 are the V. Once you get these first few rounds in, then you'll get where we're going, and it'll be much easier. So without a chain in between these ones, we'll look for the chain space in between after the V stitch. We're going to double crochet, chain 1 and double crochet all into the same space. We're going to look for the next space after the V stitch, which is there. So I'm going to do a V stitch into there. No, I'm not. I've done that wrong. Ah, I want to make corners. I need to make corners. Yes. Oh, I wonder how long I would have went without realising. So the next round is a corner. So it's 2 V's into the same. So I don't know, I might cut that bit out, or I might leave it, and then you can see that we all make mistakes. Right, so we've done our V. We chain 2 and we do another V back into the same space. I want all of these little ends out my way, please. Then we're going to jump into the next chain space there after your V stitch. So that's 1 V, and we're going to do another corner. So it's a V stitch, chain 2 and a V stitch all in the same chain space. We're going to look for your next gap, which we're making into a corner. V stitch, chain 2 and V stitch, looking for our next gap. We're going to do V stitch, chain 1, V stitch, double crochet, chain 2, and then double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. That's a V stitch. Looking for our next gap. Put another corner in, V stitch, chain 2 and V stitch. you can slow the video down, but my voice will go a bit strange. So I've come to the last. I'm going to pop that down. Let me see if I've got 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I've got 6 corners. Yay, go me. So we're just going to join that 1, 2, 3 space of your first V, first leg of your V stitch. I'm going to slip stitch that, and I've lost my ball of wool down the back of there, but it's alright because I'm just going to pick up the lilac from the row before. Zoom out a little bit. I'm going to turn over, pick up the lilac and just pull that through and pull this tight, so just like we've joined onto the lilac. So that's going to be the last leg of the V. So we're going to jump over to the next space, which is a corner, because these are corners. There we go. We've got a corner there and a corner there, and then we've got a space there. So we're going for our space, 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 but we're not going into the top of the V stitch. So we're jumping right over into the corner. So we're going to do our V stitch, chain 1, double crochet, and then we'll chain 2, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. So that's a corner done. Now we're going to go into the middle of the V's, and we're going to make another V stitch on its own. And then we've got another corner. We've lost the other ball down the back of the desk. So we're going back into a corner stitch, which is your V stitch, chain 2 and V stitch. We're coming down the back end of your hexagon into the space, so that only needs 1 V stitch, and we're back into the corner space. We're doing the V stitch there, chain 2 and V stitch. Going to the center one, we're going to put a V in, and then we're back into a corner. Chain 2 and back into that corner. Spot our next space in between your corners, got a V stitch, and then your corner stitch, and the center one, which is a V stitch on its own, back into the corner, that's my stomach rumbling then, and then we've got remember the leg that we started on, so we're just going to need to do 1 side of the V, chain 1, and then slip stitch into the top of that leg, and then that's our 3rd round done. So now we're getting our shape 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if you took your little sides together, it would have a funny little shape, but we're starting to make our little hexagon cardigan shape. So now we're going to switch back onto our variegated yarn just by pulling up the loop and pulling this one tight. We're going to chain 3 and then another one and then back into the gap. So that will be classed as our first V stitch. Then we're into a corner space, which is 2, chain 2, and V stitches. And now on the sides we have 2 V's on their own. So that's 1. And 2. Back into a corner. I like this blue on this. It's really nice. Corner has 2 chains and then another V stitch. Back down the sides with our 2 V's. So every round you'll add a V stitch round. I'm going for about size 14 English, which is like a medium size bolero type jacket. I'm not going to do a long one this time. I'm just going to do it short and this, you know, as easy as what we can. So I've done 21 rounds of these. So that's all we're doing is your V stitch and your corner stitch and change colours for 21 rounds. I hope that's enough to get you going. I really do. So I will meet you back when we've done 21 rounds. With the wrong sides facing up, I'm going to get one of the edges, pull them together, and that is going to be your arm to shoulder. And that's where we're going to join. And single crochet all the way up, picking up the lilac colour, fasten on and put your slip knot onto your hook first, and then just go through the centre loop of your chain on that one and the centre of this one, so they're both the same. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and then we're going to crochet all the way down the top of your seam. So we'll be picking your 2, go through your chain on you from the front side to, well, the nearest side towards you, and 2 from the furthest away, and single crochet them together. There's different ways to do this, but I like to do it this way, single crochet. And we'll be single crocheting all the way up to the shoulder seam. It's a nice little edge there. Okay, so just carry on with this. So I've gone up to the end of the seam, so we're just going to pop our hook through the last couple of chains and then finish on the very corner one that we started on. So it's the chain in between the corner, so it's the corner stitch is there, and I am going to cut off here and bring it up. So that is the 2 points of our cardigan, 2 sides even. I'm not going to put a centerpiece in at the back, so we're going to get our both sides together, still on inside out, still on the wrong sides. So what I'm wanting to do is on this side is join at the top seam, I think. I'm maybe do it, I was thinking maybe start it a little ways down, so it's like a V neck. See if that would work, because sometimes these stick out. So we're still halfway. I'm going to start at the bottom, bring your seam together. I am going to, oh, I didn't get a stitch marker. See if I can find one. Usually about 10 from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is where I would put my hood. That looks a bit too big, so I'm going to go 10, 9, 8, 7. So try that. Then I'm going to bring this edge up, drop the bottom edges out, so we're not crocheting them all together. Same thing again, we're going to just do a slip knot and pick up the center chain on the bottom corner, of each side. I'll just go through the loop there and then pick up opposite side to single crochet. I'm going to crochet so far up, and then I'm going to try it on the mannequin. I am lucky enough to find, well, I got one off Amazon, I think it was about £30. So it's been useful to get it. I've ummed and ahed about getting one, and I'm so pleased I have now, because before that I was trying everything on myself, and it's a bit hard to work out where you want to do extra seams or where you want to finish seams. Okay, so we're just going to pull a big loop there. We're not going to fasten off in case I want to carry on up to the neck part. I just want to see what that looks like. So this is what it looks like on the mannequin. So I do like the V at the back. I'm going to be in my own shadow here. Excuse me, miss. And then the fronts like this. All I'm going to do now is a couple of rows of single crochet around the sleeve ends and the all around here. So it'll be up and around the back and back down again. Right, so we don't have to finish, we don't have to cut off from where we were. I'm just splitting it into the two parts. So I was happy with the neck line at the back there. I'm just going to follow all the way around the seam of the cardigan with a single crochet just to give it a nice edge. So I'm going to chain one and single crochet into every stitch, or what looks like a stitch, or maybe not every one, maybe every other. Let's have a look. So that looks a bit tight. I don't want it to be too loose, so I'm going to skip the odd stitch just so the edging doesn't look too tight. But I don't want to do many rows actually. I was going to do a couple, but I'm not. I'm just going to leave it as one row. If you like my content and want to see more, please subscribe, like and leave a comment and let me know what you think, and if you've got any requests, please ask me, because that's I don't mind making cardigans and explaining it. I do have a couple of really in-depth tutorials on my channel. I'll try and leave the, well, I will leave the links in this one of these corners at the end, and then that'll take you right to the hexagon cardigan with no sew, which I do all of this. So all I'm doing now as well is when I'm going, I'm taking the strands with me. Just pull them a little bit tighter. I'll leave that there because I want to come back with that. I do like the lilac as well. So I'm just going to carry on all the way around and back up to the V. So I've got to this corner where we normally, we do 2 double crochets, well 2 V's stitches, and then we do 2 double crochets in the middle. So I just want to put in 2 single crochets in that center. So I've got one from the other side and one from this side, and carry on as you were. So coming round to the back where we started, I think I'm just going to go and look for a large button to stick on the front as well. because it's going to be like off the shoulder cash, like bolero type jacket, cardigan, stroke, whatever you feel like wearing, love. But the sun is out, the sky is blue, and I'm nearly finished. How about you? So I'm going to just fasten off my ends, fasten off the ends, love. Join it together. I should have done that a bit neater. My bad, because that's going to be seen, isn't it? La-di-da-di-da. What have I done? Have I done something wrong? I have. Oh, darn it. Darn it, darn it. I was thinking that looked a bit thin. I've got a single crochet to there because I should have put a pin in it. If you like it, then you should have put a pin in it. I should have put a pin in it. Should have got it with that. Right. Just going to undo all of this. See, everybody makes mistakes. But I've cut off now, and I shouldn't have done that because that's not going to be long enough to get me over. Oh, what a shame. Have I got anything here to meet? No. I'm just going to carry on. Right. Meet me back at the proper seam end, please. And I'll be showing you how I pop a button on it, if I can find one in my button stash. I'm just going to attach some more yarn as well. So this is the starting seam, and we set off and we just done it. I carried on straight without cutting off. So I just want to join seamlessly on the seam. So I'm going to go into the back of that seam and then just back of that stitch even. Pull through. And get rid of the ends on all of the cardigan. And I'm just going to pop that through the other side and pop that back through this side and that side. You catch the drift. And then I'm going to work back up. And then back down again. So if my ends are long enough, that's what I'll do, because it's just like less chance of them unraveling on you. They won't unravel, just the ends will start sticking out. There's nothing worse than when you're sitting looking at your work and talking to somebody and you can see some ends that have escaped. So I'm just going to do that all over the cardigan and then pop my button on and then stick it on the mannequin for one last time. And to see what you think, please let me know.